There's a prophecy with the Hopi tribe. When you see the blue star, there's going to be a change. It's the end of the old and the beginning of the new. The blue star is actually all of us, the star seeds. It's the representation of us stepping forward into our roles as these leaders into this world. There's access to vortexes, the pyramids. There's ancient pyramids in Sedona. There's pyramids that connect to Egypt and all over the world. It's not all these rock areas. They're old, ancient. There's also ancient trees. And I could see this. It was like a system. It was like a cloaked area where like ships land, or like it was like a hub. There's a lot of information and downloads that are so connected with not just the land in Sedona, but the entire planet, the consciousness of Gaia. We're really being brought together. There's a much greater purpose beyond the words. If you are feeling a calling from your heart, that you're feeling like Sedona is calling you, definitely sit with that for a few minutes because it's unlocking so much.
Welcome, everyone, to Soul Communication. I'm excited to continue conversation today about special places on Earth, such as Vortexes in Sedona. I'm having a beautiful retreat there, April 11th through 15th, and I invite you to join. The website for more information is QuantumCodesRetreat.com. Our early bird special is coming up on March 15th. If you feel in resonance to join us, we welcome you to be part of our intimate group. And I'm excited today to continue talking about the retreat, but also multidimensional communication and access to different realms and what consciousness provides us in terms of our abilities. One of the key facilitators in this Sedona retreat is my divine sister, Kirstie Lauren. She's a multidimensional channel, light language channel, and energy healer. Welcome, Kirstie.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and talk all about multidimensionality and how to access all the different realms that are all around us.
I'm so excited to have you, sweetie, here. Many who probably listen know this feeling when you meet that soul family, and in the moment you just like you. That's what happened for us. So we just connected right away and we just fell in love with each other. And now we're creating this beautiful thing together in Sedona and following the energy and feeling the threads. And I know you've traveled the world, you've lived in Thailand, you've been everywhere. What excites you today as you're grounded right now in Canada and about to take off again? What excites your soul?
Having these conversations excites my soul. Knowing that I'm embarking on a new adventure, I'm heading off to Spain and Italy. I'm excited to take off in a few days. I've been doing lots of grounding, so that's exciting. I'm like excited to step into the unknown and fly.
Beautiful. And then you're going to come back to Sedona in April and ground your flight with me at the Bell Rock. So I know this retreat specifically is something that was brewing for a while. You actually invited me initially to come together and co-create in Mexico in Tulum. Those energies then shifted and you got a different message, and I did at the same time. Walk me through your process. Like, how do you connect to these messages? How does the land and information talk to you?
In Mexico, I was really guided to speak to the trees quite a bit. There's a beautiful guardian tree right outside my place that kind of wrapped around the building all around above it. And on the last day when I was in Mexico, and I was actually just heading to Sedona, and I didn't know if I was coming back. I had just walked to the tree to get some guidance and what was happening, and the tree was said, your retreat is not in Mexico, it's in Sedona. Sedona is calling you." So I got really excited, and then I was on the plane, and I think I had landed and I had mentioned it to you, and then you said that you were getting all these activations and these, like, messages about the retreat being in Sedona. We were online.
I love that because the Last few podcasts we had was with Chris Noble, who's gonna maybe present some music with us. Will, who's also done a lot of work with you, connecting to the realms. And I feel like we have such a strong, beautiful crew. And then as we committed to doing this journey together, then I had Yorick Wing, who showed up out of nowhere, channeling the SSani collective. And basically talking about this ship that's over Rock and all these connections with the magical other realms that in Sedona that some of them I was aware of. You were there also in January. It is so interesting. There's this information weaving that's happening where you get all these confirmations, right, from the field of yes, this person, this is what needs to happen. Yeah, tell me more about so the tree seems like one you really connect to the trees. Do
Mhm.
you feel like the trees have their own maybe network of communication? Like why the trees?
The realm of the trees is something that anybody can connect with. It was meant for more so grounding into the earth when I was in Mexico, because that was the place of my first incarnation, and I needed to really dive deep in there. And so when I was in Thailand, I was very much with my galactic guides and very up there. Then when I went to Mexico, I was going through like an initiation and grounding deep into the earth with Pachamama. And the trees, I probably did know when I was younger, but I forgot. But the amount of learning and knowledge and the depth that I have gone to with the trees, they do so much. They see all. They are a direct connection to source. They know what's ahead. They know what's behind. They're able to see all. And they're very bright light. I had a few trees that I was working with in Mexico, and they're just such bright souls. And the message is I was working with them even here in Canada, and the message was just thinking of trees, being present, breathing in, looking at a tree. You all have the ability to connect with that realm. That's just one of many realms. There's the realm of the water, source consciousness as well. There's the realm of, let's say, dolphins, nature. We all have the ability to connect with these realms, but it's what kind of gravitates, like what lights your soul on fire. Do you have a connection with dolphins that you just love dolphins or an animal or trees? So that's my suggestion is like working with that spark first. For me, like I've always been connected with dolphins. I had no idea why. Even crystals. We could talk about crystal. Um, the trees I always was, but just never realized. So it was like a lot of remembering, a lot of re-remembering, a lot of activating. There's lots of codes that you can get. People are online getting information on YouTube or on social media. There is so much accessible to everybody by just going outside and connecting with a tree and breathing in that air. And it just that really excites me because it's something that I had forgotten, but I just do it multiple times a day now. I always go and I find a tree, and they all have their own unique personality too, which is really great. So I'm clairaudient. So I have like very specific different voices or energies that I can feel and hear, and they're always just so wise. Yeah, do you have experience with that as well on your side?
Oh, absolutely. I always have my favorite tree or trees. I even have a story where I lived this has happened when the pandemic hit and we were cooped in and we couldn't really go anywhere, especially where I live in New Jersey. It was like all the parks were closed. And there was one little park where this massive 100-year-old tree that I used to go to just to meditate, just to be outside because you couldn't really go anywhere. And then bring my kid as well. And what was interesting, a couple of months later, I decided that I want to move out more into suburbs and have more kind of accessibility to nature. And as after we moved, I was very connected to that tree and went through the portals with that tree. It was just really special and sat on its like little trunk nearby. And yeah, my landlord called and she said, "Oh my God, Diana, like the tree just fell." The 100-year-old, more than probably 100-year-old tree, it was a storm. It just like completely, like with the root out, fell down. And I felt this sorrow and grief. It's more like I lost a friend in some ways, that I guess it's time to go. And in some ways it felt also like my relationship with this tree was complete. So I do perceive them just like you do. And I've had these relationships as well. And I'm definitely a tree hugger. And sometimes it's so cool. You can even put your like forehead on the tree, and definitely there's like information that can get passed to you through your third eye. I do encourage as well to connect to trees. So let's talk about the trees in Sedona.
Oh,
There's two types of trees we can talk about. There's the actual trees that when you in the vortex, this is how you know you in a special place. The trees are actually helix like DNA, literally, like they are whole trunk of the tree is like goes like this, which is fascinating, right? And they've done studies on that too. And then the actual vortexes themselves, like the Bell Rock, the Cathedral Rock, all of them. And I think I mentioned it when we were talking with Will and Chris. And there's a lot of YouTube information out there. These are ancient trees. You can feel it. And I've been in places and like in Brazil and other places where anytime there's a mesa of this scale, it's always a vortex. There's always UFO sightings. So the veil is really thin in that realm, always. And these ancient trees were connected, I feel, in some ways to other realms. And so there is like this quantum entanglements, this remnants of this connection. And I think that's why this interdimensional portal is still there and existent, because the trees are still, even though they got cut, the trunk of this tree is still there. It supports that passage. So that is really fascinating and exciting. And I know there's many places around the world that have the same type of access.
yeah, it's the whole ecosystem. They're supporting so much beyond what we can see. There's ancient civilizations there. What you could say they could be cloaked, if that word resonates, but there's so much depth there. When I was in Sedona and I was hiking, there was a little gnome. He was, like, around me, and he was pointing to this rock area. And by the way, like, all these rock areas, they're, like, old ancient, like, there's also ancient trees a part of those. And I could see this, it was like a system, it was like a cloaked area where, like, ships land, or, like, it was like a hub. And you mentioned, I guess it was Bashar that you had mentioned. I had gotten the message. All of a sudden, I was, like, up on his ship and being like, "Yeah, you're gonna be talking about this on the retreat." And I was, like, turning around, like, I was like, "Oh, okay, did I get lost?" I just thought I was going to sleep. But there's a lot of quotes and information and downloads that are so connected with not just the land in Sedona, but, like, the entire planet, the consciousness of Gaia. We're really being brought together. There's a greater, much greater purpose than even just beyond the words. If you are feeling a calling from your heart, that you're feeling like Sedona is calling you, like, definitely sit with that for a few minutes, because it's unlocking so much. Like, even for me, like, you've been there multiple times, right? I have traveled all over the world, and Sedona is one of my most favorite places. I feel at home there. It just has this high frequency, this high resonance that I wanna, like, make sure that I am there often, because it has a lot to give. You can learn a lot and just know that you are in this, like, loving cocoon as well. It's just beyond words. Like, your experience with that as well, like, how many times have you been there?
Yeah, we try to go at least once a year. So, talking about recharging, that is definitely the place on earth that we go to recharge and feel like at home. So, all the words that you used are exactly the same for me. And also that feeling of logos, which is that connection with the infinite web of information that is existing there, and specifically found that Balrog to be my vortex naturally, and then just getting that confirmation has been beautiful, especially for sunrise. There's a lot of codes coming from just the sun in general, and just anytime you do sun gazing, there's these particles they call ignitons. Probably not a lot of people know about. A lot of people talk about neutrinos, but actually now the quantum physicists talk about igniton, like to ignite, ignita, the Greek word, which is actually tiny particle that's almost out of matter. They can't fully figure out what it is, but what it does when we absorb it in the body, it does activate the biophotonic light that's within us as well, because we already produce it on a DNA level, the biophotons. And there's something magical about receiving these codes in the vortex. There's another level of activation that happens. And I've observed when you do the hike, like early in the morning when the sun hasn't come out yet, like the UV light is not out yet, there's access to some other layers of information that I received there, like almost like seeing hieroglyphs. And I started seeing these shapes and I started looking closer and I was like, oh my God, that looks like a sphinx. I started seeing these, what I call Egypt and Sedona, these shapes that literally, and I've never been to Egypt, that pulling me into this Egyptian timeline. And I started seeing hieroglyphs on the mountains and it was fascinating, like there was a new level of activation that started happening. And you and I talked about this whole connection between Sedona and Egypt. So there's a lot there. I would love you to talk a little more about the Hopi, because that's the Native Americans that live in the area. And I feel they're very connected to the Atlantean civilization as well. Maybe share a little more about them.
Yeah, so that was my first inclination being in Mexico. So learning about the Hopi realm and really connecting deep into Pachamama. There's a prophecy with the Hopi tribe that it's when you see the blue star, there's going to be a change. It's the end of the old and the beginning of the new. And so what was actually told to me was the blue star is actually all of us, the star seeds, and what's the representation of us going and stepping forward into our roles as these leaders into this world and just shedding that old paradigm. There's a deep, deep connection with the as the Egyptian. They're deeply connected. There's access to vortexes through the pyramids. There's ancient pyramids in Sedona. There's pyramids that connect to Egypt and all over the world. It's not very close. You actually might have a little bit more to say on that because as we're talking, you're going to be like seeing stuff as well. There's a lot of that information that we're able to now share. And yeah, there's just, it's the multidimensional systems that are coming to light. It's in a similar fashion. I do strongly feel that in a number of years, we're going to start seeing dragons or interdimensional, beautiful beings that are able to access into all realms. And if you look at all the different cultures from long ago, we all speak about a different type of like dragon being. And they didn't just go away. It's just we physically, for the most part, not see them unless you're like tapped in and like really work with them. So I work with dragons quite strongly. So I do believe in that way, like we're unlocking and we're going to be able to see more and more. Like dragons will be something that we'll be able to see. And those like layers, the lifting of the veil, we're going to be able to see quite a lot when we are in Sedona, whether that be the knowledge that's coming through and us being able to explain it, or we'll actually have like sightings of it in ways in which, like when we were on the cruise. we saw some very strong physical sightings when we were on the top of the ship, right? So we'll be able, and just like when we were in Sedona and seeing the hieroglyphics, there will be lots that we'll be able to see. But we're also very deeply rooted into Pachamama and working with the Hopi tribe and really connecting with our shaman roots. Um, I know that's something that's really important as well. And this is why this flows so beautifully with us, because we've been doing this many lifetimes. So yeah, I'm curious what I'm speaking, if anything, if you're getting anything right there.
What I was receiving, also remembering at the Galactic cruise, I don't know if you remember Cassian, he told me I had a lifetime as a Native American in Arizona. And the first place that brought my attention to, I was like, "Ooh, it must be Sedona," because of that feeling of home. And as you were talking, I was like, "Oh, there must be even more than that. Besides maybe my past life, there is a technology that is connected." As you said, we just re-remembering. And I think we carry these very special codes. Like we've done this as high priests in Atlantean timeline in ancient Egypt, most likely, whether it's a Hopi or some tribe of sorts has been in that area and knew that area is special. So each person also carries specific codes. And when you with these people, they help you to unlock your own codes. So I think there's something really beautiful with us being a trinity. It's myself, you, and Will. We hold in this really special, I feel, energetic portal as well on earthly level as shamans, but also on a galactic level, able to be conduits to the light language, to the channeling, to the energy. And a lot of it has to be expressed. So I feel in these places, the throat really needs to open up. I think those who are going to be joining us are going to have a lot of this opening happening where they step into truly their power and their truth. And they've probably been playing with it or tinkering, but not fully like feeling it. And I feel there the energy would be just very supportive and empowering in the kind of phoenixy way of stepping into your truth and creating a new version of yourself.
Mhm.
Now is the time for everyone to step up on stage of creation. And that's what we as facilitators and these galactic shamans do.
Oh my gosh, it was a few months ago, and I was told that I was a galactic shaman, and I was like, "What does that mean?"
You and I met you. Oh, you galactic
Yeah.
shaman. And yeah, it took me a while to step into saying it out loud because I did a lot of work in this lifetime. When I opened up to my spiritual journey, it was first through like energy healing, Reiki, but then shamanism was my foundation. I felt always like a strong calling to understand the roots, the rituals, the plant medicines. And I'm glad I have that foundation, and the earthly foundation. It was needed. I had to spend my time in Peru and Colombia with the shamans and really learning from them from ground up. But at some point, in the ayahuasca ceremony in 2016, grandmother was like, "You graduated from earthly shamanism. It's time to go galactic." And I was like, "What is galactic?" Like, I did not understand. But now we were joking before we got on the podcast. Now we galactivating.
Yeah.
Now we
Good.
that's our role. We are here to galactivate your
Yeah.
memories. And even though you might not fully understand what that means, we're here to help you to remember who you truly are beyond Earth as well. It's a bigger package of you, meaning
Yeah.
you as a soul having this beautiful vessel, but also you who is in parallel selves having aspects through space and time. And definitely in few systems in this galaxy alone, not even talking about other universes.
We're multidimensional beings. Time, obviously, we know it doesn't exist. It's not linear. We're able to access keys and codes from our future selves from many different lifetimes, whether that be Earth realms or galactic realms, and realize that we're a multitude of layers, and everything's coming online like quite quickly now. I don't know if you find that the people that are waking up now, yeah, it's something that, like, even just sparking those codes of curiosity are waking people up in a faster way. Like, even this conversation, it's like light codes are flooding through and waking people up in a curious, like, loving way, and that's really what I wanted to talk more about too is coming from the heart space. That's the big focus on the retreat. Sedona is coming from that loving heart center and exploring from there. Because that's basically been what I step forward in, is to bring people into that heart space and then bringing their life through purpose and how to help the world in that way from that loving center and really just aligning with their highest self. Do you know what I mean?
In the last 4 or 5 years, since everyone went and shut down and were able to meditate and connect now, becoming channelers and grid workers and you name it, like the incredible amount of transformation that's happening. I love it because I've been on this journey for longer. I see it as like a wave rising. And the higher this wave is, the more we able all collectively to choose the timeline that serves us the best from a quantum perspective. And I think it's accelerating now because more of us waking up, and the more of us will wake up, the more we steer in the ship together versus it just like throwing us around. Enough language to say it in English, and I'm feeling like I would love to hear your transmission right now from the heart space for those who are tuning in, because heart transmissions are beautiful. Kirstie, if you do us the honor just to share what you're talking about, because I feel like it's one thing to hear it, but another is to really feel it. Like you got to feel it. And that's where light language, multidimensional language of light and quantum brings to this reality, the ability to really feel.
So I work with the realm of the all, and it's guided with my Syrian guide. I work a lot with the Arcturian Council, the Lyran Council, the Syrian Council. These codes will be through the realm of the all. So if everybody just wants to close their eyes and take a nice deep inhale and exhaling, letting go, and maybe pressing a hand on your heart center. We are the realm of the all. We come with bliss, love, gratitude, and joy. Breathing in and exhaling. We share codes on your ascension path. We guide with love. We share purpose. And we invite you to take a step forward on your path. We ask you to smile. We ask you to recognize, to know your greatness. You are surrounded by love, supported by Source on your earth walk. We share love with every word. Cool with every sound. Cool with every breath. Kyo. Kyo. Sending love to you and breathing in and exhaling. Tapping your shoulders. Tapping your forehead. Unlocking, 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 unlocking. Kuyanaya, shoo 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 shoo. Kiyanaya, shoo 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 shoo. Tapping your heart center. Remembering who you are. Remembering why you're here. Awakening to your full potential. We are the all. With love. Aho.
So beautiful. I could feel the different frequencies like weaving together. Sometimes the sound on recordings doesn't do the justice, like the high notes. And that sometimes happens in Zoom too. They like get a little bit echoed and dimmed. But yet I'm sure those who are feeling and in the frequency with Kirstie could go beyond what you can hear because it's right there. And that's all that matters. The language is not as sometimes as important as just the feeling itself.
Yeah.
What were you feeling when you were doing a transmission for others?
Oh, I feel so much love that comes through. Just a lot of like delayering. It's almost like if people are in like a heavy cloud or in that they can't even see, or like in the wrapped up layers. And then I see people just being delayered. And so these codes really cut through all that. Like you think of like a butter knife cutting through like a cement wall, really. It's possible. It's like a magical butter knife. It's being able to cut through a cement wall. But it's able to really through everything. Just like really just go to the core with the essence of it. That's something I'm being guided more and more to do is through the song and through the sound. And it's a beautiful, like loving frequency. So I've been working with the realm of the all for a while now. And I've had people say they listen to one video and their light language just comes on and they're like speaking light language and they're like, this is, or their hands. And so there's a lot that comes through.
So,
People
what
are,
is the realm of the all? Is that just a higher frequency bandwidth than like even the galactics?
so the realm of the all, it first got introduced to me through the Hopi realm. So I was guided with the Hopi tribe through this realm. So it's basically, if you want to think of it, you could think of it as being like up in D of it's really up top. It's like this feeling of unconditional love. So that's the closest feeling that I've had of that deep connection of source consciousness. And it's like a direct connection to that. I feel like I'm wrapped in like a love bubble and just able to really get through all that, those layers. It's if you have a million layers of saran wrap, this is the analogy I'm getting. Yeah, there's a million layers of saran wrap and being able to like just dissolve it all and then realize, oh my gosh, I've been under this the whole time. I didn't even know that I had these like layers of saran wrap. I can breathe. I realize why I'm here. Like this, those are like the codes that are able to come through because like the stuff even like me just being back in North America and being in Thailand for a while, the air is just different here. There's like a smoggy film. That's what I've kind of felt. And I never noticed it when I was here before. But then being over in Thailand and then coming back, I realized there's something, it's like a blanket of stuff. So if people don't even realize that stuff's there, this is able to like really cut through that.
Besides the chemical and everything else, do you think it's also energetic blanket of sorts?
Probably like a billion different, just trying to keep us in a low frequency and not reach our potential in so many different ways. Energetically, yes. And then you could think of many different compounds and things. It's able to dissolve. And it's with the tones and the frequencies as and then you bring that with or the 432 hertz binaural beats or with your wonderful new tools,
That
which is
coming to Sedona, those magical Wawa pipes.
wow, right.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're definitely going to be working with those on the rocks. And I'm still considering bringing my handpan as well. Yeah. So, in combination with the music, of course. But I wanted to express that the singing for me too, like when I do workshops with Kundalini activation and I'm always channeling, it's almost like the way I see it, just like what you explain, it's almost like I'm clearing, and then I call them the angelics, but whatever that realm of all, the high frequency is coming through, and you we able to bring it through the song and the tone. It's almost like smoothing the energy. It's like you chop, you do the surgery, and then it comes in and smoothes it out. Like you butter knife. I like that a lot because that felt very familiar. And then it's, ooh, yeah, we can ground that into the heart. Like it's bringing this like smoothness to the emotional choppiness, and then it goes back into some other hardcore, I don't know, Sahmet, I call it Sahmet ra ra ra.
Yeah. It's almost difficult, but not difficult to really try to capture it in words because we have such, and no offense, but like the limited vocabulary of what is actually going on in the words. And so that's why it's like all this just bypasses the mind and goes straight to the soul, goes straight to where it's needed. That's not in words. And so that's why it's so funny because both you and I were like trying to explain, but it's the feeling. It's the feeling of it.
It's the feeling, and it's also being a conduit for it. So I think we also being divine instrument, observing what's happening over the years, and because you and I have been channeling for many years now, and it's like learning what's happening so that we can explain it on this lower 3D level,
Yeah.
how it's also happening over there in
Yeah.
other multidimensional levels altogether. And so we bring it from, so as above, so below. We are the bridge. So we're able to like bring it all in here, and the voice, yeah, is allowing for that expression. We're channeling that expression to here. So because it penetrates so much deeper, it penetrates into the DNA level, the cellular level, to like you said, through all that gunk.
It's happening quite quickly. A number of years ago, maybe it was like a little bit of a slow wake up and there was more like sludge to go through. But the amount of collective work that's been done, it's like people are like, oh, hey, I just woke up out of this fog and I realized what's going on and I need to unlock these like they're like, I didn't even know that this is I mean, it happened very quickly for me as well, but it's happening like with my clients, I'm just noticing it's like they're just hopping through again the sludge that was there. And I'm sure you agree with that years ago too. There was more of like this burning of sludge that you really had to get through. And so we've cleaned that sludge through collectively a lot.
I think so. At the end of the day, there's a free will. So I think person still needs to want to do the work. They want to, the enlightenment, so to speak, process is a destructive process because you have to literally dissolve, remove, unblock all these layers. The I'm peeling off the onion. That's my favorite metaphor, and many probably heard until you get to the core. And the peeling process can be a difficult one. It's a lot. You got to be dedicated. Some of my clients come to my workshops and do my stuff like on a monthly basis, and they're still on peeling. So this journey is never really about the actual destination itself and arrival there, but the process too. And it can be very multidimensional. It can be up and down and all around. You think you've achieved a certain level of frequency, bandwidth, or understanding and contemplation, and then you can drop again. Something else might happen, and then you have to digest it and process it again. So we have to yeah, we have to be gentle with ourselves and okay with the fact that this is spiral. It's not linear at all. And our mind wants it to be like from A to Z. I think A to Z is still possible, but most of my observation has been towards myself and others that you gotta be really gentle with yourself and loving yourself through the process, and yet dedicated. Dedication and devotion is a big thing because it's really easy to get so indulged with what's happening out there, the noise. There's so much noise, external noise, and get lost in it. So continue stabilizing your field, stabilizing your light, stabilizing your light body and your sacred geometry, and continue in the work. And you probably can see like those clients that come to you continuously, those are the ones who have like accountability, they're progressing, and the ones who did a little bit and they think there's like a magical bullet or a magical pill to fix it all. There's no such thing, right? So it's a process, but there's something about definitely going to places where this process gets accelerated and supported and anchored. So my favorite word is anchoring because everything is about integration. Because you can get galactivated, activated, all of that, and you can hold it for a day or two. Go to ceremony. I know a lot of my friends do plant ceremonies. I used to do them myself and facilitate them too, or even come to my workshops and everything is dandy, but then they go back into their 3D life and they lose it. And so you have to continuously have practices, integrate that into your daily life. Otherwise, it doesn't stick.
And that daily practice looks like something different to everybody. Not everybody really likes the word meditation or feels that it doesn't work for them, but that could be anything that brings joy to your heart. Like it could be if you really like dancing, dance to your favorite song. If you like singing, like just sing to your favorite song. Like that's just a practice in itself. It doesn't have to be like just even that. Like you're going to benefit so much by putting on a song that you like, moving around, and starting your day with that.
Totally. Someone told me the other day really good advice with the songs in the music. I don't use Siri that much, but the idea is to ask Siri for a song from the angels or the song from your galactic family. And then Siri just play me a song from them. And then she just randomly plays you a song. So that's another like fun way of making it fun and playful. It has to be playful. Otherwise, it's too serious.
Finding that play, that inner you, the younger you. This is the thing, it's once that little spark of whatever it is that you're like, "Oh, I like this. This feels good. This feels fun." It's like just doing a little bit more of that, even if it's 1 minute a day, just bringing a little bit more in. Because there's been a lot of the layers and layers over the years of the conditioning, and it's like unraveling that in itself too. Like it took me a while to find that play aspect again, right? And it's that's a lot of that you're seeing its way, let's incorporate that back. Let's really incorporate that back because that play light, that play realm really is a guiding light and it just will start growing. It's like that the light of the sun is like cracking through with the light of play. It's just like that you feel it and you can't deny it. So whether that again is sort of a favorite song that you play or you incorporate Siri into it or and just doing that'll spark something. And you may not realize at the time what it's doing, but it's lining stuff up for you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, love, for coming on and being here with me and sharing your beautiful channeling and your voice. How can someone find you if they want to do one on one work with you?
So I can be found, my website is KirstieLauren.com. So KirstieLauren.com. And my social media handles is Kirstie Lauren Being, like Being. And I have a lot of different offerings. I have one-to-one energetic attunements, Akashic record reading, and galactic lineage reports. I offer workshops and 3-month mentorships. And I also have a lot of guided meditations, free guided meditations on my YouTube and my Instagram channel that I put out quite frequently as well. And then obviously, Sedona.
If you put in QuantumCodesRetreat.com, it actually goes to Kirstie Lauren's website. So QuantumCodesRetreat.com is where you find more information about upcoming retreat. And we have so many offerings. So we weaving in light language, of course, the music, breath work, sound healing, Akashic reading, human design. There's a lot of really incredible modalities we've even together that usually you would not get at regular yoga retreats. This is definitely a retreat that is here to accelerate your journey and help you anchor that foundation and come to this new version of yourself when you get home. And we're all about integration, as we were just talking about. So we'll give you the tools to do that. And just spend, incredible, amazing time with us, going to the trails and doing sunrise and some other really special places that we will bring you to that usually tourists don't go to. So that's the magic of Sedona and being there with those who have been there before, because it opens up doors when you're curious. So stay curious, and if you feel the calling, please reach out to us or go to the website and put on your deposit. It is March 15th when the early bird closes. So that's not that long away. It's this weekend. So please inquire and don't hesitate. This is your call. And if you feel the call, join us. Thank you, dear.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you all for tuning in.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode. You can visit my website, dianadivine.com, where I'm now offering a special Quantum Master Creator free ebook that will help you to create the conscious dimensional life that you want. I'm also offering other programs, one-on-one sessions such as quantum healing hypnosis and quantum crystalline soul healing to help you in your vibrational alignment. On sourcelanguage.org, I'm offering a digitized course that is self-paced to open you to the divine gift of light language. I'm Diana Divine, and keep connecting with your higher self.